everyone. So after reading our story, The Journey Home, I was quite interested in the polar bear situation and why the ice is melting. So I thought it'd be fun to do a bit of a science experiment and create a fair test to figure out the answer. I'm going to put this on our class page, which will hopefully guide us through our investigation to make sure it is fair. You might need to think back to our lost happy endings topic where we thought about changing states. Now, I'd be really impressed if you could have a think now about what I mean by that. How are we going to change ice into water, or maybe water into ice, or water into water vapour? So hopefully you've realised that we need to freeze the ice, and that is something that I've already done, so we can plan our investigation and then get going. So what I was interested in is what makes the ice melt faster. Now, to do that, what I thought I would do is get some ice and put it into lots of different locations that have a different temperature, and seeing which place makes the ice melt faster and which place keeps the ice more solid. Now I'm going to give you a couple of minutes just to have a little think. Which variables would we keep the same? What do we need to keep the same in our fair test? Or what is it that we're going to be changing? I'm going to be writing my notes on some post-it notes. You don't have to, you could do it on some paper, or you might just make sure you remember in your head. Okay, so I'm going to have a think, you have a think, and then we'll see where we are. So I think that's me done. So the things that I thought that need to keep the same are the ice cubes. So by that I mean the size of the ice cubes and the shape of the ice cubes. I'm going to keep the container the same. In my case, I'm just going to use these little plates because I haven't really got anything else. But you might have something else that you might want to keep the ice in, that's absolutely fine. The timer, because we're going to time how long it takes for the ice to melt. I'm going to use my new watch to time that, but you might have something different, but as long as it's consistent throughout the investigation. And then importantly, I'm going to keep the person who times and observes the same, okay, just so it's a consistent approach. Now, obviously I'm doing this on my own, so that person is going to be me, but if you're doing it with some siblings or some family members, then make sure whoever it is in charge of the clock stays the same. So step 3 is asking us to list the scientific equipment that we are going to use. So it's quite simple actually, so I've literally just got my ice, I've got some containers that I'm going to put into 3 different locations, and then I've got my stopwatch. So for the next part of my investigation, I've set up my ice cubes onto my plate. So I've got 3 ice cubes on each one. And the 3 locations I've chosen are to put some in the fridge, some in direct sunlight, and some I'm just going to leave out on the worktop. Now obviously you can choose your own 3 locations, but I thought they were 3 different temperatures. So we need to make a prediction as to which one we think is going to melt fastest. Do we think it's going to be the fridge, the one in the direct sunlight, or the one that is just left on the worktop? So obviously each section of this investigation has to be done at a different time because there's only one of me, so I can only observe and time one at each time. So once you've put all of your ice cubes in each of the locations and then timed how long it took for the ice to melt, you can then think about how you're going to present your findings. It's suggested on here that you might do it in a bar chart, a tally chart, a time graph. So I'm going to leave it up to you to decide how you would like to present it that kind of displays your findings in the best way. There is then the last section, which is the conclusion, which hopefully should link back to our main question: which location did the ice melt fastest? And think about how you could improve if you were to do it next time, or if you were to do a similar investigation. So that's pretty much it for our science investigation. I hope you enjoy it, and I'm very interested to see what you find out as well, see if it was the same as my findings. You might also want to see if this science investigation has any real life applications. Can you find out maybe why the actual ice caps are melting? Does that link with what you found out in your science investigation? Are there any steps that we can take to slow the ice cap melting down? Or is there anything that we're doing that's actually making it worse? See you soon.